Welcome, Climate Viewers. This is Jim Lee, aka Resonated, from Climate Viewer News at climateviewer.com. And guess what? Not only is my mic working this time, the powers that be, the intelligentsia, the PhD holding experts have come to the conclusion that Havana Syndrome is caused by, wait for it, microwave signals, radio frequency signals. Interestingly enough, I came to that conclusion in May of 2021 in my video, Directed Energy Attacks, Havana Syndrome, and Targeted Individuals. Now, this should be obvious to just about anybody, and I covered this in another video as a follow-up in September of last year, and it was called People Cookers, Havana Syndrome Spreading, as this became more widely known in the mainstream media news. And the only reason we're even talking about this is because it has made it to the mainstream media news, because so many targeted individuals from the government in embassies around the world are experiencing anomalous health incidents, as they are calling them. And they can't quite explain why. But would you believe that people have been microwaving embassies since the 1940s? And could this be linked to why we have such a crazy problem with Havana Syndrome, named after Havana, Cuba, where the Cuban embassy was attacked by what they said was probably crickets or all of this? It was probably anything. Maybe they were hearing industrial machines, all of that implausible, undeniable, that it's either infrasonic, ultrasonic's not very effective at passing through stone, must be radio frequency. That was a conclusion I came to in May last year. Stuck to my guns in September, and lo and behold, now all of the experts have come to the conclusion it must be microwaves. We're going to get into the history of this and what I think is the most likely cause. And yes, it has to do with spying. It's either, let me know in the comments, do you think that Havana Syndrome and microwaving people has to do with spying or intentionally trying to injure the individuals in the embassies? Have you yourself experienced microwave effects? Do you believe that you are a targeted individual? Please tell me your story. We're going to get into all of that and more in just a moment. If you're watching this anywhere else other than my YouTube channel, because it's free of charge and it's open source, you can download this video. You have my permission to do whatever you want to with it, because knowing is half the battle. Please come over to YouTube and type in Climate Viewer, all one word, and hit that subscribe button. Very close to 26,000 subs, despite being shadow banned for over half a decade. They just can't stop us from creeping on up. And if you'd like to support my work or connect with me on any of the social medias, or check out my videos on Odyssey, Rumble, BitChute, hit me up on Getter or Facebook or Twitter, whatever your thing is. Go into my Discord chat, buy some merch from Spring, become a monthly donor on Patreon. The lowest category is only $2 a month. Everybody can afford $2 a month. If everybody who watched my last video gave $2 a month, I'd be making $6,000 a month, and you would not believe how good this show would be. So please consider doing that, or if you want to just give a one-time donation on PayPal, that'd be great. But let's get to the details right away, because this should come as no shocker to anybody here who's been following this story. Pulsed electromagnetic energy. I clicked it. Pulsed electromagnetic energy, the most likely cause of legitimate Havana Syndrome, expert panel concludes. Do we really need a panel of experts on this? I've explained this in great detail an hour each time, I believe. Let's see, 53 minutes plus 34 minutes. I mean, they literally could have just sat down, played the 2 damn videos and went, yep, that's it. Okay, now how do we work on this? Because I'm more of a pragmatic person that wants solutions. I don't want to hear all the bitching and moaning. And that's, like geoengineering weather modification. I've got the Environmental Modification Accountability Act. Why bitch and moan about a thing if you're not going to do something about it? Have a plan to deal with it. So that's what I'd like to get past this. What's causing it, and get to the part where they're actually throwing oscilloscopes up and radio frequency monitoring stuff up to protect our staff, let alone the individuals out there who are activists like myself, especially electro hypersensitive activists like myself. I don't even like Wi-Fi in my house. I drive my family crazy turning the Wi-Fi off. My wife uses it for 5 seconds and I'm like, did you turn that off? I'll go turn it off. I'll turn it off. Okay. So I can only imagine being hit with extremely high powered microwave beams on a daily basis while trying to work in a foreign country, let alone the fact that I've heard thousands, and I do mean thousands, of personal tales via email or other type of messaging from individuals who believe they're targeted, who have health effects, and there's nothing they can do. We really need to get to the point where, personal protective gear is not just a face mask. We have some way of being able to tell when you're being lit up with a freaking microwave beam. That being said, a panel of government and outside experts assembled by U.S. intelligence agencies to solve Havana Syndrome mystery has determined that directed pulse radio frequency energy appears to be the most plausible mechanism in explaining these cases, according to an unclassified version of their findings released Wednesday. The CIA concluded last month that the most of the disorienting and sometimes debilitating health issues reported by U.S. spies and diplomats over the past 5 years were not part of a sustained attack by a foreign power. But the agency did say about 24 cases could not be explained by undiagnosed medical conditions, stress, or other natural causes, and those genuine and compelling cases formed the basis of the new findings. And what were those symptoms? The panel was given access to classified information and met with people afflicted with the 4 core symptoms: sound pressure or pressure in the ears, often called tinnitus; simultaneous vertigo, loss of balance, and earaches. Quote, a strong sense of locality and directionality to the symptoms, and no known medical or environmental explanation. Pulsed electromagnetic energy, particularly in the radio frequency range, plausibly explains the core characteristics of Havana Syndrome, the panel wrote. And the National Academy of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine reached a similar conclusion in 2020, that directed pulse radio frequency energy appears to be the most plausible mechanism in explaining these cases. And of course, I've covered that, in the previous 2 videos. So this is the report, as you can see here, and it's called Complementary Efforts on Anomalous Health Events, and this is dated February 2nd, 2022. And you'll see, all of their expert findings down here. Examples of panel member expertise on acoustic, biologic, environmental, ionizing radiation, medical, psychiatric, psychological, radio frequency. Well, the radio frequency dude clearly won this argument. That's why my nicknames resonated, because as a child working in a car stereo installation and security place, I realized 2 things: that subwoofers could not only vibrate your inner ear to the point of nausea, and we've made people throw up, these sound offs, but that with the car security systems, we actually had something called a pain generator, which was a piezoelectric tweeter that hit about 160 decibels. And this sucker could literally make it feel like you had needles going into every orifice of your body, all your skin, everything simultaneously. Most painful sound you ever heard. because when things resonate and they hit that resonant frequency with your body, you start to destroy tissue, you can destroy the mind, and you can kill a person with the right frequency. Back to the story. So anyway, this was their summary, which, I've already read to you in the thing. And, I started thinking to myself, well, what could be a possible secondary explanation to this? I mean, other than they're just cooking people, they're just, if it's not people cookers and they're not just intentionally trying to, because you can do that very fast. I mean, if you wanted to just microwave a person to death, there are ways to do that. And these people are experiencing these effects over a long time. So I had to say, well, let me think and outside the box, what else could it be? And then I remembered talking about tempest attacks. And some of you may know, I've been a hacker since I was 11 years old. I've always been into cybersecurity. And this set off this train of thought. And then I heard about this thing. And by thing, I mean the thing. How many people have heard of the thing? Raise your hand in chat if you've ever heard of this thing. The thing. The thing is a resonant, a passive cavity resonator. And I told you my nickname's Resonated. So this is just, this already has my attention because of the name. But the passive cavity resonator was invented by Lev Theremin, famous musician, scientist who invented the theremin. For those who don't know what a theremin is and never heard one, why is that not playing? Played by a tuning fork and the hand over this pitch modulation volume. Pretty crazy. Very interesting instrument, the theremin. But anyway, this gentleman invented the thing, also known as the Great Seal bug. And what's so interesting about this is that the thing, the resonant cavity microphone or the passive cavity resonator, had no power. It was just a microphone and a freaking rod. But it didn't need power because that microphone was powered from across the street. That a signal emitter could shoot electricity at the thing. And that steel arm would capture that frequency, that energy, and then retransmit it and the sound that it captured to a third party. So the question I'm kind of digging at here is, what's the likelihood that the thing, which you can see here, it was given to him by some Russian Boy Scouts, and basically this ambassador carried it into his office, and the thing was mounted in the back of it for over 7 years. It was there recording everything he was saying and doing, and nobody knew about it. It is now in the NSA Hall of Fame, and there's a picture of it right there. Blow that up a little bigger, and as you can see, it's just basically a little resonant cavity with a long antenna on it. And that antenna captures electricity and then retransmits the sound. So is it likely that in today's modern world that, this is still going on? Because this was August 4th, 1945. In 1945, the Russians were microwaving embassies to light up the thing, a passive resonant cavity microphone, and give it energy so that it could capture a signal and then send it back with the audio. In the 1980s, the same thing happened where microwave signals were found in the U.S. Embassy in Moscow. It was called the Moscow signal. In Cuba, Havana, Cuba, it is likely the same thing. This is, those who forget the past are doomed to repeat it. So it's my strong belief that what will come in the future, because my past, predictions have come true all the time. I believe that what most likely is going on in these embassies, because embassies are the highest value targets to spies, that listening devices are being lit up by external radio frequency, and the people are just in the way. More on that. So you can come over to this is at cryptomuseum.com, and you can read the whole history of the thing, 1945, and it's fascinating to me because you think all the way back in 1945 that they were able to do this. Can you only imagine what's possible today? How much more powerful and focused these microwave and these radio frequency beams could be? How much smaller the antennas would need to be? Then we're considering the fact that they may be remotely powering video cameras. More on that. So when you go through this, and I was, I always like to hit up Wikipedia, even though it's completely full of crap and completely controlled. Every now and then you just run across something interesting. And when I was looking at the page on the thing, it brought up something that I had long since forgotten, because everybody forgets about Snowden. I mean, it's not like we even think about Snowden. At least 90% of the people out there, have never even heard of it. And if they did hear about it, they don't care. But I saw down here at the bottom, Rage Master, radar-powered video cable tap and retransmitter. Shit, that sounds interesting. See image above, right? Which will show you that. I guess we'll show you that first. Right here is a video cable for your computer. A video cable for your computer that a concealed $30 device that taps the video signal from a target's computer VGA signal output so the NSA can see what's on the targeted desktop monitor. It's powered by a remote radar. It's powered by a remote radar and responds by modulating VGA red signal, which is also sent out of most DVI ports into the RF signal it re-radiates. Same thing, different type of device. So they shoot a radar at a $30 device they stuck inside of the cable on the back of your monitor that connects to your computer. And then that device then rebroadcasts your video signal to a third-party source where they can see everything you've been watching, everything you're doing. That's not all. That's not all. So this comes from our best friends at the Office of Tailored Access Operations, known as the Computer Network Operations Structure as S32, a cyber warfare intelligence gathering unit at the NSA. It's been active since at least 1998, possibly 1997, but was not named or structured as TAO until the last days of 2000, according to General Michael Hayden. TAO identifies, monitors, infiltrates, and gathers intelligence on computer systems being used by entities foreign to the United States. Walk with me, people. Now, we know for fact that is long since past, that the NSA does not only target foreign entities, that the CIA does not only target foreign entities. They have been targeting Americans for a very long time. That's why Snowden did what he did. Mass surveillance. That the The rules have all been broken. And I'm only highlighting this to highlight my local American, United States targeted individuals. If you believe the government isn't spying on you, the Durham probe just proves that, literally Hillary Clinton and company were spying on Trump while he was sitting in the president's office. What in the hell makes you think they won't spy on you? The FBI, the CIA, and the NSA. I mean, it's right here on climateviewer.com/privacy. New World Order Technocrats and the Surveillance State. You can go and you can look and you can learn. There's only so much I can tell you about in a video. You got to do the work yourself. Go over to Climate Viewer 3D. Look for yourself. These are all the undersea cables. These are all the drones that they're flying around. These are the Department of Homeland Security fusion centers. These are the NSA facilities that they are using to store everything, all the things. I'm not kidding. You can go in here and you can zoom on down, and that is Bumble Hive, aka the Utah Data Center, aka the Comprehensive National Cybersecurity Initiative NSA facility, where they store every single thing you've typed since you were born on the internet. And then some. And that's not the only facility. There are all these facilities with these red eyes all over the United States. You can just fly around and look at them. Oh, but they're not just there. Shout out to my homie over in Guam. Here you go. This is Captain Tom, right? Over in Guam. This is the NSA facility in Guam at the Naval Computer and Telecommunications Station. They're listening to everything, but the majority of their infrastructure is right here in America. So you think spying on Americans isn't within their realm of possibility? Do you think that you're not going to get microwaved in your house if you're a high value target? Do you think that the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, and the DHS aren't spying on you? If you do, you're way off track, brother. So the reason I bring this up is because tailored access operations works like this. Jimmy decides he's going to buy himself a new gaming monitor. So he gets a 360 hertz Alienware monitor. And for that, he's going to need a new DisplayPort cable. And for some reason, my DisplayPort cable didn't come in 2 days. It took like 4 or 5, I think 6 or 7 days. For all I know, and this is the way they work, they intercept packages on delivery because they have agreements with all these companies. They modify that material before sending it on to the target. So right now, in that cable in the back of my computer could be the same thing that we just talked about with Rage Master. And that would mean that all they'd have to do at this point is put a microwave device on a telephone pole near my house and remotely listen to and watch everything I do all day, all the things. This is in the realm of possibility. So is it in the realm of possibility for people experiencing Havana syndrome? You bet your ass it is. It's very cheap to do. If the NSA is doing it, China's doing it, Russia's doing it, all the people are doing all the things. Hack all the things. It's always been the case of surveillance. Now, I was actually mentioned on export.gov because I talked about this thing called a tempest attack. And this is another one where electromagnetic radiation coming from, let's say, my monitors, or let's say I had a webcam and the webcam was sitting up here on top of my monitor, but it wasn't even plugged in. And you think you're safe. Given what I told you about the thing, the passive cavity resonator, given that, and the fact that you can shoot a microwave beam from an external source to light up a device and then have it retransmit, and you combine that with the ability to do what's called a tempest attack, or what was called back in the day Van Eck freaking with a PH. You could literally use a radio frequency microwave transmission to give enough power to that webcam that's unplugged to turn it on and view what's going on in it. And then use a tempest attack to listen for the radio frequency, the EMR, the electromagnetic radiation, coming out of that cable, which would act as an antenna, to then capture that video stream. I am not making this up. These are real things. So this is the thought process I was having. Maybe the group of experts will get together and meditate on this now that it's on freaking YouTube and everybody can see it and talk about, oh, it's on Odyssey and BitChute and Rumble. It's not going away. You can't delete it now. And plus, I got a backup. So unless you plan on coming through that door and taking it, it's going to be out there. It's already been said. Ideas now out in the universe. All of these things are possible. So this was on export.gov, and this was written by a cybersecurity partner, XA Hive. Anyway, prepared by David Mohajer. I don't know. Cybersecurity series, side channel, and Tempest attacks. And he goes through what's a Tempest attack, and he scrolls all the way down here. Oh, Lord, look. J. Lee 2014 NSA Tempest attack can remotely view your computer and cell phone screen using radio waves retrieved from Climate Viewer News. Link right here. And this is the article that was cited by the cybersecurity experts and available on exports.gov in the United States. So, it's got to be pretty damn accurate if some cybersecurity defense contractors went through it and were like, well, we might as well mention that. It's a thing. It's called a Tempest attack. Using an antenna and some gadgets from your local electronics store, you can spy on your neighbor's TV. So if you put all of these things together, the ability to do this, there's a lot here. Van Eck freaking demonstration. Guy literally going in and just showing it on state TV. It's pretty great. Well, you see, I do this and I do that and all of these things. And, I can actually then listen to the signals coming from the keyboard to the monitor, to the computer. I can listen to the monitor cable. It's called Van Eck freaking. So having a third party shoot microwave signals into a building, you're providing wireless electricity to devices. You're amping that up, which would create more electromagnetic radiation coming back out of those wires. Those wires are not much different from any antenna. And that's what it looks like. So on the one side, you've got me face. On the one side, you've got what you see, and then here with their little antenna, it's a little grayed out, but that's a pretty good example of what they would see. And I'm sure this technology has come quite a ways since, it was first invented. But Tempest is a national security agency code name referring to technical investigations for compromising emanations from electrically operated processing equipment. Therefore, if you go and if you're like in the cybersecurity world, probably even in these embassies, they sell what's called Tempest rated monitors, Tempest rated, keyboards, boxes, all of that. They test them for any kind of ambient EMR or electromagnetic radiation coming out of them. That gives them a Tempest rating. So if it's Tempest rated, it doesn't have any radio frequency coming off of it. But what if you supplied a whole lot of radar power to that same equipment? How would it operate? How, would it re-radiate some of that information that could be captured? Trust me, spies are working on this. But Van Eck freaking Tempest attacks, that is a typical Van Eck freaking antenna setup right there. I just blew it up to where it's behind chat. But you can see it there. All the links are already in the details. Look into it. It's pretty interesting. This is using a microphone to figure out what your password is just by listening to the way you tap the keyboards. And it's pretty darn accurate. So just like we're compromising electromagnetic emanations or wired key or keyboards. Blah, blah. Well, that's a mouthful. But they literally got the oscilloscope going over here and a microphone and everything like that. And bruh man's up here getting ready to type some stuff in. And sure enough, they got the antenna over here, Van Eck freaking style. And they're going to sit here, and as he goes to type on the keyboard, you'll see that he'll be able to pick that up in the other room. It comes right back over here, and you can actually see everything that he typed. Keystroke 5 acquired, 6, 7. Decoding, done. Password. This is the kind of espionage that's going on. I'm willing to bet that many of the individuals who are experiencing this Havana syndrome, and probably a lot of you targeted individuals out there, are more than likely experiencing external electromagnetic signals for the purpose of spying. Now, we could be real nefarious and say it's for literally people cooking. I mean, this has always been a thing. I don't think it's going away anytime soon, but the term people cooker, if you start to Google it, you can get into some really freaky microwave weapons that are specifically designed to induce cancer and kill people. That is always a possibility. And in particular, even with this report, they said that there was a small subset, 12 individuals out of the literally hundreds, possibly thousands, who've reported health effects. My cats. Oh, Mike doesn't even pick them up. Good. Meow on. That those 12 individuals had such severe symptoms that they could have possibly been targeted with people cookers. So let me know in the comments what you think. I mean, aside from living in a Faraday cage, as Short Bus is saying, there's not a lot you can do about it. That's the worst part. And that's why it will be exploited. And, it's got to be pretty traumatizing to, people who have, dedicated their life to protecting our country, going out and putting their life and limb in danger to go to a foreign country that is hostile, to, be an ambassador, they're secretaries there. They're just, people who really are low on the totem pole. Nobody is untargetable. I mean, anywhere the lowest person, the janitor in the ambassador's, building is in the embassy is literally going to be targeted. And that's everything from sneaking in USB keys to plug in to, here, just drop this on the desk. And it's, just another one of these, just like in 1945, passive cavity resonator. No moving devices, no mechanical anything, doesn't have any electricity, but if you supply electricity from an external source, makes a great microphone. Worked for 7 years. Nobody knew. Moscow, 1980, the Moscow signal happened. Now, Havana, Cuba. Also, China. So this is happening all over the place. And just recently, it was happening in Washington, D.C. So the question remains, what will these people do next? What will the powers that be do next? They've already talked about, making a fund to help with the, the health effects, to pay, people in the government who are harmed. What about all of us? What about the activists out there? What about the loudmouths? God forbid you're one of the people who organized that truck convoy up in Canada right now. You might be getting your whole damn house irradiated. Did you ever talk about Monsanto? Did you not like Roundup? The WikiLeaks cables say very specifically the NSA was hunting your ass down. Read all about it on climateviewer.com/privacy. So, what do you think is the most plausible answer? Were they cooking people intentionally, or were they firing up their spy devices using microwave energy like they've been doing since 1945? I think that I've said all I have to say about this, and I think that I at least have opened your eyes to something new. Of course, with every targeted individual I've ever spoken with, I always try to give them the pragmatic solution before I, indulge their theories that they're targeted by the government. Because if anybody's targeted by the government, guess what? Jimbo is definitely targeted by the government, because I literally have the world's only Five Eyes NSA plus the Five Eyes spy facility map that shows all of Zuckus, the Five Eyes, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, US, and UK, their spy facilities around the world. And I was interviewed by the NSA on my beach vacation by the pool after putting this map out. Fort Huachuca and Fort Meade visited climateviewer.com so much that they hacked my website 7 times, to the point where I no longer could run WordPress anymore or anything with a database. And I literally hand code my entire freaking website now. This is climateviewer.com now. No databases, all written in hand code so that they can't get in there and screw with it. I literally have to go in and put in all the things by hand. So if you think you're targeted, you probably don't know the half of it. So I'm going to leave you with this. If you believe you are a targeted individual, I'm going to tell you the same thing I've told multiple people who went on to find out they were not targeted, but they were using bad practices. So let me bring up one more page. Didn't plan to do this, but like I said, I like to give people real world solutions. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go to climateviewer.com/EMF. Okay. And on there, you will see a page called Wi-Fried, Cell Phones, Wi-Fi, and EMF Health Effects. Because I think that people really need to understand that we are electric beings, that our nervous systems, our antennas are connected to our brain, and our brain produces hormones, and through external electricity hitting our body, all things are possible. All manifestations of sickness, from psychological to physical, are there. I'm updating Climate Viewer right now because every time I put Resonance Beings of Frequency, the documentary, up on this page, it gets deleted from YouTube, and then I have to go find a new copy of it. But I'm sure that that's out there already again. It's always getting taken down. But great documentary if you ever want to watch one. Resonance Beings of Frequency. I'll put a new copy of that up there. But the reason, why does it affect me? Because DNA is a fractal antenna in electromagnetic fields. The wide frequency range and interaction of electromagnetic frequency is the functional characteristic of a fractal antenna, and DNA appears to possess 2 structural characteristics of fractal antennas: electronic conduction and self-symmetry. These properties contribute to a great reactivity of DNA with EMF in the environment, and DNA damage could account for increase in cancer epidemiology, as well as variations in the rate of chemical evolution in early geological history. That we are big freaking antennas, and that if you don't know about electrosmog, if you don't know about EMF and RF exposure, and you don't take care to protect yourself, why are my ears ringing? Electrohypersensitivity disorder, as the World Health Organization wants to call it, with their International EMF Project. I haven't checked up on that in years, probably should see what their findings are. But what I'd like to say is this. If you're one of those people that leaves their cell phone on right next to your bed, if you have a Wi-Fi in your house and you leave it on all night long, if you have cordless DECT phones, I mean, I don't think anybody has cordless phones anymore, but there are people that do, I'm sure. If you have all of these things, how many Rokus do you have in your house? How many Xboxes, PlayStations? Are all of these things connected to the Wi-Fi? Because every single one of these devices, when you add them up, plus, depending on your neighborhood, how many people have turned on the Wi-Fi? I know that this doesn't happen near my house, but when I went to the beach, I literally turned on the Wi-Fi and I could see 36 Wi-Fi hotspots in the house we were staying in. 36. If you're at a concert, 20,000 people there. 20,000, possibly, let's say half, 10,000 cell phones in close proximity. These are the types of scenarios where what's called specific absorption rate, or SAR, go out the window, because that's how they rate what's safe for a human to be near. So if you're in a house that has the Wi-Fi on, your cell phone on, you got a wife or a husband, their cell phone on, your kids, they got their cell phone on, your Xbox and PlayStation, and there's 4 Rokus and they're all on. All of this is adding up to a dangerous amount of electricity, which is, I like to refer to it as electro smog. It is smog you can't see, but nonetheless can very much harm you. I went to LA when I was 15 years old to meet my mother. And I remember going to Magic Mountain and I could not breathe. That was my first encounter with real world smog. And I had to go back to the house and stay indoors all day long for the rest of the day and the next day because I could not breathe at all. But there are people that live in that shit every day. That blows my mind still to this day. The difference is with electro smog, it builds up in you and you don't even realize it. So for those people who believe they're a targeted individual, before you consider the scary fact of all the things we just talked about, from people cookers to, government spying, using external microwaves and targeting you directly, consider cleaning your house first and taking some common sense steps. Turn your Wi-Fi off. Consider using wired devices instead of Wi-Fi. Limit your exposure to Wi-Fi and cell phone signals. If you have a smart device on your power pole outside, all of this stuff adds up. Get an EMF reader. Find out what the voltage in your air is like. They're cheap. You can find that. My entire house is wired. I see Music Loving Fool. My entire house is wired. The only time the Wi-Fi ever gets turned on is, if the kids are, wanting to go in their room for a moment and, get on a tablet, or somebody's out in the yard and they want to listen to Pandora, and I don't want to pay $5 for a gigabyte of freaking data because I don't pay anything for my cell phone. I pay $38 a month for both of my phones. So we only use Wi-Fi in limited amounts. And I'm never near my cell phone. So if you call my number, it's on climateviewer.com. It's on connect.climateviewer.com. If you go here, my phone number is on there. Leave me a message. I'll call you back. Because guess what? I'm not going to be holding that phone. And even when I do use the phone, I keep it far away from me on speakerphone, or I, have a little, earpiece in, but that shit works like a microwave, like an antenna plugged right into your ear anyway. It's not much different than just holding it right up to your skin. Long story short, cut all the devices off. Don't cut the cord. Keep the cord. Plug the things in. Turn the things off. Another one, and this is probably one of the biggest one, because even if you do all of the things I just said, you're still going to be experiencing electrosmog from all the other people who don't understand what a problem this is. Earthing, aka grounding. Just like whenever I learned to build computers, I'd get a ground strap, put it on my wrist, attach it to the case, and make sure that I was grounded so that no static electricity popped off one of my fingers when I was going to replace a CPU. You want to make sure that you ground yourself. And this is very simple. And this is why it's so therapeutic for people who garden or go to the beach. And they don't understand why it makes them feel so good. It's because as all of this external electromagnetic energy builds up in your body, you gotta let it out. And moist feet, bare feet on the earth is the only way that I know of to get rid of it. And I'm telling you all of this because of one particular individual. I will not mention her name, but she called me in a panic. She was having panic attacks. She was a targeted individual, and I gave her the rundown. Do you keep your cell phone on at night? Yes. Is it located near your bed? Yes. Do you have Wi-Fi? Yes. Do you have cordless phones? Yes. How many other devices do you have? Nah. I want you to try this. Turn all these things off for 1 week. I want you to go outside. I want you to make a little mud hole and put your feet in there for 1 hour a day. And let me know what changes in your life. And within 1 week, all of her symptoms disappeared. All. So much so that then she decided she no longer wanted to be in her real nice house, in her real nice neighborhood, because of all of her neighbors who were ignorant idiots with super powered Wi-Fi's. And she moved to the middle of the freaking desert in a trailer and has been happy as hell ever since. So I try to be realistic about this stuff. I'm not here to scare the pants out of you. Although I'm going to be honest with you, this stuff does scare the pants off of me regularly. I'm literally not wearing pants right now. But the point is, I feel for the people who are targeted individuals. I do believe that Havana syndrome is a real thing, that our diplomats and our, I don't like to blanket anything. Although I despise the CIA and the NSA, I know there are good people in all of these things. FBI, CIA, NSA, people with good intentions that are patriots that want to protect this country. And at the same time, I know that there are individuals that will stop at nothing to hold all the secrets, because those who hold the secrets hold the lever. And with that lever, pressure can be applied, and that's how you run a world. So everybody is constantly trying to get over on the next person with their spying. I believe this is the case. I believe I have been hanging around Frank. I will be on, quite frankly, tomorrow at 7:30. We will not have a microphone issue tomorrow. And we're going to go over the extremely coincidental thing that happened last Monday versus this Tuesday, where last Monday I said, where's Anonymous? Where are the Patriots? Why has Anonymous only ever attacked America? Why has WikiLeaks only ever attacked America? And Your Anon News on Twitter, extreme leftist Antifa sounding, what happened to Anonymous? And then this Friday, Your Anon News on Twitter announced, we're going to war with Russia. And then Hillary Clinton said, go Anonymous. And then Senator Mark Warner said, the outcome of the war with Russia will determine who will lead the New World Order. So a lot has transpired since last Monday when I put it out into the universe that all the things, and we'll see where that conversation goes Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern on Quite Frankly. Hope you guys will tune in for that. I hope you guys will share this video. If you enjoyed this video, if you found it informative, please gently smush the like button. YouTube hates me enough, and being shadow banned is tough, so sharing is certainly caring. Please share this in all the weirdest places, not just the normal places, all the weird places. Share it everywhere. You try to think of a new place you never shared something before and share it there. Post it up on a weird Reddit board or something. I don't know. But trying to break out of the box here, man. I really want to grow the channel and get to a larger audience. Maybe one day we'll be able to grab Joe Rogan by the ears and blow his freaking mind that chemtrails are a thing, despite his last guest he had on the topic. But regardless, any support you can throw my way would be greatly appreciated. All the research I've done for the last decade, I've done with support from caring individuals like you. I love you, climate viewers, and everybody who's signed up on Patreon. Please hit that sub button if you haven't already. Share this video out with everybody, and remember that with information comes power. And in the case of Havana Syndrome, with power comes information. So please use this information to attack ideas, not people. Love you, mean it.